Hey, welcome to the show, everybody. Welcome to the Council on Future Conflict. My name is Scott, the proprietor of the Future Conflict channel. Today, we're talking domestic terror and Iran War Day 175. And yes, this is AI imagery on, but she just looks so friendly. I just couldn't help but use it. Hi, I will be your terrorist today. How can I help you? Boom. That's how that works. Joe, how you doing this morning?
I'm doing good, but I wanna modify what she would say. She would say, "How can I help you?" Anyway,
Exactly. Inshallah.
uh, little inside joke for those who know. Um, yeah, it's pretty good. Spent the last 48 hours or so working on the presentation for Alan's celebration of life. Had a great time going through all of the old photos. There's a couple of you and I with Alan and Watcher with Alan, and uh, it was just pretty interesting going through all the old photos and putting them into a slideshow for today. So we've got his service today. We're gonna record some of it, maybe put some of it out. I don't know, but gonna be an interesting day, right? Uh, Hope everyone remembers that we're there to celebrate his life, not mourn his passing. There's a big difference between those two things. So,
Yeah. Yeah, he's a great guy. So he well deserved, right? We could all only hope that we get something similar once we've moved on.
I will
Um,
tell you that Alan Erickson, although it probably might not have felt like him in the moment, but he is a classic example of a life well lived when you look back from today back over the years. So, yep.
um, Don, how you doing, brother?
Good. I'm not doing anything quite so exciting as Joe, but very suddenly everything in the world is kicked off around here, and so I get the joy of like throwing thousands of pounds of tires at every day, which is awesome.
Uh, all right. Well, the good news is that as we check in with the Dusty West, your progeny seems to be doing well. So
which is good. I will.
all glory to Don.
I don't know about all that, but I will leave his personal business off of the internet as I have tried to do for so many years. But it
Yes,
is good to know that he is doing better than he has been.
Well,
very good.
here's the worst part, though. He's about to tell you that Tijuana was on the way home from Watcher's place.
That is not how that works, and you know it. He will show up in the driveway and be like, "I'm here."
Oh boy. Watcher, how you doing?
Good. Can I just say, things arrive when they need to. For instance, young men to be able to do heavy lifting and chores right as I throw my back out and can't look to the left at all. So it was very opportune. So yeah. Other than that, I'm good. And then we've got all of our equipment here, and so we're ready to get packaging on lemonades for the state fair. And that'll be easy money, man.
Very cool. Very cool.
I
We've
wanted to
got
point
a
out, I forgot
yeah.
something. We have renamed today Amphibious Friday, since there are more amphibious gods of war on here than there are green weenies. So here we are.
I continue to suffer the slings and arrows of
outrageous persecution
of the junior service.
Well, we do more with less and go farther and get never mind.
I mean, that's what she said, right?
Gents, I just have to say there's one thing that I'll show you just real briefly, and then we'll move into our actual funny. But good morning.
Life could be a dream. Life could be a dream.
That was funny every time.
Good morning, everybody. It's Friday.
It is. I feel like that's how my Fridays go sometimes. It's like I'm like just getting it, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere. By the way, Watcher, I added something into segment 1, and it's highlighted in the notes just so you can add
Perfect.
it.
You know,
All right.
Rocks of Life asks if amphibious means that we bang fish. Nah, bro, mermaids, bro, not the same thing.
And if you don't believe that, look at old time sailor stories about mermaids and marines at any strip club.
And let's be honest, that's where the Dependa thing comes from. Men looked at the manatee and thought it was a beautiful mermaid.
That's
Same thing with
no.
Dependas. Same thing.
But
Well, you know, that's you look at a man who falls in love with a manatee and you go, that's a natural born chief right there.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
the irony is that we all just recently, were reminded of the Odyssey, and who knew that the USMC was created when the first set of American boats went by, and they in fact turned directly towards the sirens and then proceeded to conquer their island. So
Facts.
Fact.
All right.
Which reminds me, speaking of the Odyssey, Gene, if you're watching, we need to finish watching that movie. Anyway, carry on.
What? Ugh.
We were watching Odyssey here one night, and like we all fell asleep, and we're like, we need to go back and finish watching that. It's not as bad as everyone thought it was going to be.
The Odyssey, yeah, it wasn't as there were the problem with the Odyssey was that they absolutely cast it like it was some kind of woke fever dream, then made a generally bog standard Hollywood adaptation of a classical piece of literature. So the adaptation wasn't horrendous, but the casting was fucking like eye cancer, if I'm honest. The Japanese member of the of his crew in the Mediterranean notwithstanding.
Yeah.
I've seen less diversity in an American infantry platoon than what I saw in that group.
Well, yeah, and the Black Helen, and there were several characters that
Several.
clearly would not have been black. So
Exactly right. So anyway, I just thought that was the casting was literally the worst part of it. And once you got past that, and let's be honest, the acting of all these woke cast people was fairly good. All in, Ellen Page was a great actress before she decided to mutilate herself. So I wasn't really into her movies for the most part because they were kind of more frou-frou kind of things. But now that she's decided to claim that she's a man,
the best part of Odyssey was
Now
her
you're
dying,
into her
so.
movies?
no, I'm just saying now I've seen her as a man, and she actually is a less believable man than she ever was a woman. So
Shocking.
I know it's Joe, what would you call her? I like dainty as a man. I don't know how many Athenian warriors came across as dainty back in the day, but she certainly did.
I would think probably way more than you imagine.
Well, let's be the Athenians, right? And these are not necessarily the Spartans you were looking for.
Yeah, it was silly. That was a silly cast member, but anyway. Oh, hold up. Can I show off my cool new decanter first? Because I know I keep interrupting. But
no, absolutely, go for it.
So I found a local craftsman during our local Huckleberry Festival. Yes, that's a thing. Check out the new whiskey decanter here, and matching glasses.
Nice.
So, very cool. Handmade here in Montana. So
yeah.
cool.
Now, Joe, all we need to do now is get one of each, get that set, pair it with a Tactical Wisdom branded Montana whiskey, put it in a box set, and that's a dream come true.
That's not a bad idea. Actually, I had a guy last night show up. He was here a couple years ago and he sat with us on the back porch. And he was like, "You got any of that tin can whiskey we were drinking?" I'm like, "Actually, I do." You know that Montana bourbon? That was
Yeah.
pretty darn good.
Yeah, that was pretty good. All right. We do have something funny. Flock cameras are all in the news these days. Evidently, they're getting a surprise endorsement at a local city council meeting. So
Is
let's
it
check
really a
this out.
surprise though?
Well, I guess you're right. Disney would make sense.
The Emperor is a fan of Flock, and we must continue utilizing Flock technologies so that we can follow and surveil the rebel scum as they move from playground to playground, from playground to pool, from pool to gymnasium, because we all know that the Flock cameras are not only following the license plate readers, they are following children. They are following children in parks and gymnasiums, and we need this. I need this so I can stalk my ex-girlfriend. How will the people trust this city council when this city council continues to vote for surveillance technology that imprisons them? Miss Campbell, you must work on your Jedi mind tricks. Do it like this. And when you do it, make sure that when you're double speaking them into telling them that police services have become more humanitarian, make sure that you don't emphasize the detail that you put a ban on camping. You put a ban. You made criminalizing homelessness.
Well, good. Not the flock part, not good, but yeah, the ban on camping anywhere.
The
yeah,
irony the irony here is Flock has somehow got both the far left and the far right on the exact same side of the same issue.
That should tell you something, right?
Well, look, the far right is worried about the far left getting back into power and using these exact cameras in order to basically make 2020 look like a fun time. The left is worried about people actively viewing what they're doing right now.
Yeah, that's
so. What's funny is he mentioned stalking ex-girlfriends. There have been countless police officers across the country terminated for using Flock for exactly that. Running the plates of ex-girlfriends or women they're interested in and finding out where all they've been.
Yeah,
don't be sexist here, Joe. I just caught some broad cop that got fired for looking up her ex-boyfriend's license plate 116 times in like a month.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Well, the sad thing is that you give any group of people a tool, it will immediately be abused. And this is not just police, this is everybody, right? Like any tool, it's like you give people the sum of all knowledge at their fingertips and they immediately use it for porn, right? I mean, so there is never a technology that won't be misused or used in some way that it was not intended. And this is no different. But you don't need to ban the internet because people are using porn. But when the police are surveilling the people illegally, that's when something needs to be banned. It can't be abused by the people who have the monopoly on violence within the community. So yeah, all right. That's my little 2 cents on that whole deal.
Another guy in the chat saying, "Never date a female cop." Took me a while to figure out that is a bad idea.
But once they're an ex-cop, then maybe they've reformed.
That is not better.
Then it's a case-by-case basis, All right. Let's see here. All right. Let's jump into our first odds and ends, shall we? So we've all heard of the long-range attacks and whatnot against, say, Russian oil facility 1,000 miles in, drone attacks on the Kremlin, St. Petersburg got hit, so the Ukrainians have pulled off some daring long range attacks, but this may be the mother of all of those, if true. Um, but I don't think this is a drone attack. This is clearly sabotage, internal sabotage is what this is. Kiev Muppet Show tried to pull out a story that they hit a railway convoy carrying ballistic missiles from North Korea. They claim the Ukrainian armed forces struck the target in Siberia, 6,000 miles. According to now, so here's the thing: this guy clearly is taking a pro-Russia slant on this. But that doesn't mean this train didn't encounter some difficulties. And right now, it's kind of hard to confirm exactly what happened. Evidently, some of the missiles were destroyed. This could just be a regular derailing. Let's be honest. Russian trains are, I don't know that I'd want to stake my life on the safety of the Russian rail network during a time of war. But you know, stranger things
I
have
will,
happened.
I will point out that that train is nowhere between North Korea and the Ukrainian front, based upon the map. It's a little
Yeah,
off course.
yeah. Well, so it would be it. That's my understanding is it's part of the Trans-Siberian rail line, and so that's roughly where it would be if they were moving missiles by train across Russia.
Does the Trans-Siberian Orchestra play on the Trans-Siberian?
God, I hope so. I mean that would actually that would make me turn back around on their safety record to actually
Right.
let's be honest. Can you do Christmas anymore without Trans-Siberian Orchestra? I mean, yeah, let's be honest.
It's true. CWSB, I vehemently deny that man is in any way related to me. So, there are no
Russian.
Ukrainians in my family tree.
I mean, I totally don't see it either. Yeah. Any other thoughts on if Ukraine starts employing a kind of a deep sabotage strategy like this? I mean, there. One of the things that North Korea, I guess, has made an enough with enough reliability are their ballistic missiles. They've got KN-23s and 24s and KN-30s. KN-30s, also known as the Hwasong 11 Charlie, is a long-range, much larger ballistic missile than the kind of Iskander sized KN-23s, and it purports to have a warhead the size of 2.5 tons, which is not nothing. So interesting to see if they start employing these. The report is that Russia's received about 30 of these missiles. That would be, that would be a new wrinkle to the embroiled war that we already have. But ultimately, what's another explosion between warring parties?
It's not fun unless both sides get to blow something up.
That's true. That's true. All right. Moving on. Joe, you brought us this story here. 2 hijackings in 4 days. Somali piracy rises. Experts worry that the conflict with Iran and other regional dynamics are setting the stage for Somali pirates to make a comeback. Let's see. The oil tanker Cebu 1 flies the Eritrean flag, but it's likely part of an Iran shadow fleet of ships exporting oil around the world, according to tanktrackers.com, a company that monitors global oil shipping. The tanker has routinely ferried oil from an oil terminal in the Yemen port of Ras Issa that is controlled by the Iranian-backed Houthi militia. The company added, Cebu 1 was the second ship hijacked by Somali pirates in the span of 4 days. Joe, did we contract out with Somali pirates to begin
Yeah, that's when
taking out?
they seem to actually be doing our bidding. The last ship was not an Iranian one, though. But what's the irony here is there's actually been 3 in 6 days. And all 3 of these were directly off the coast of Yemen. So the original thinking was that it was Houthis seizing the boats, but then the boats all crossed the Red Sea and ended up on the Somali side. Ironically, all three of them have come ashore within a remarkably small distance of each other. So I would anticipate seeing some sort of kinetic operation on the ground there, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's governmental in nature. And I will leave it at that.
Yeah. Let's see. Years after a
Lloyd's of
long,
London has some money to recover, I guess.
I guess
So,
so. Years after a global naval campaign largely curbed the scourge of piracy, experts worry that the conflict with Iran, along with other factors like regional rivalries and economic difficulties for local fishermen, is setting the stage for a comeback. In the first 5 months of the year, more than 17 piracy related incidents were documented across Somali waters and the Gulf of Aden, including a hijacking of at least three commercial ships, five Duhal boats, according to the Center for Maritime Security. Mr. Hashi, the local ports official, said that the six ships are currently being held by Somali pirates, including two seized this week. Across those ships, he added, are more than 100 crew members are being held hostage. The resurgency of piracy comes at a time when maritime blockades and fighting in crucial shipping routes, including the Red Sea and the Straits of Hormuz, have widened the opportunity for hijackings and ransoms. The most frequent successful spate of piracy attacks in almost a decade and a half are going virtually unnoticed on account of just how bad the maritime security picture in the wider region is, said Ian Rowley, president of maritime governance nonprofit group Oxfam Worldwide. Colonel Mohammed Jama, a senior security official at the Puntland Maritime Force police force, said the CB-1 had been boarded by seven armed pirates at about 130 miles off the coast of Yemen and diverted to Somali waters. He said the condition of the 20-person crew was unknown. Um, doesn't surprise me that you're starting to see this pick up now that we're basically turning our eyes towards other threats. Joe, it seems like this would be a like a gangbuster time to start doing private security on these ships. I mean,
well, interestingly, there's an awful lot of private security being on the ships in the region, but all of the ships taken didn't have any because of who owned them and what they were carrying. Like, for
yeah,
example, no reputable maritime security company is going to put troops on a VLCC that's likely going to be seized by somebody at some point. You don't want to be on there when the Navy SEALs come on board and be an armed security team member. It's not going to go well for you.
yeah,
The other ship that was taken was was actually carrying Turkish arms and ammunition to the Somali government. That's interesting that somebody knew that what was on that ship and that it was unguarded. But again, when there are weapons evading sanctions from one NATO government to a sketchy almost government, nobody wants to touch that ship either.
yeah. Well, that's one of the that's when you hear the halls in the of in some Somali house of kickback, yo. They're gonna get their piece of once they found out that juicy piece of information that was too good not to sell to your local.
So
So
someone, I think what this tells me is that someone is giving them some pretty good information on what's on board those ships. Now that's probably just port officials or something like that that's easily corruptible, but they allude to this problem at the beginning of Sicario 2, where he's interviewing the Somali pirate in Djibouti. Hey, we worked Djibouti into the conversation. And the guy says, hey, somebody paid you not to hijack this particular ship, right? So it's pretty interesting how good of an intelligence system these pirates that you think are so backwards are.
yeah,
Taking
uh,
over and moving a modern ship requires some technical knowledge. So
It's almost like we'll probably start to see an increase in more private security in the region.
Huh. Shame.
I mean, worse things could happen, I guess. All right. Such as the safari helicopter crash kills 7 people in Kenya, including 5 Americans. Huh. This is one of those kind of like,
One of those head-scratching helicopter crashes because you think, oh, well, that's too bad. But then you find out who was actually on board the helicopter. And you
right.
wonder if somebody saw a flash of light just before the crash. All right.
Exactly right. Helicopter taking tourists on a safari crash Wednesday, or it could have just been like, mechanical sabotage once they realized, it could have been a number of things. But ultimately, yeah, it's the thing that makes your head scratch is what happened and to who. Killing all 7 people aboard, 6 passengers and the pilot. 5 Americans were amongst those killed at the crash site. The U.S. State Department confirmed in a statement to CBS they were known Florida-based Telemundo television. They included a Florida-based TV station manager and a well-known Miami restaurateur. The U.S. Embassy is in touch with the local authorities and providing consular assistance. Blah, blah, blah. We extend our deepest regrets. The helicopter crashed at 9:13 a.m. while flying from Losaba Conservancy Conservancy to the Iwaso Nairo area of Samburu County, according to the
Now we know why I
Kenyan.
picked this story.
I know. I mean, I'm getting them. It's just like, oh fuck, man. The Conservancy is the thing that really kicked my ass. According to the Kenyan Civil Aviation Authority, which said in a statement, an investigation was underway. Let's see. The police commander for Samburu told reporters all 7 people on board had died, but did not reveal their identities. Later Wednesday, NBC Universal said journalist Jose Alberto Suarez, president and general manager of Telemundo 31, Telemundo 49, and Telemundo Fort Myers, Naples, was amongst those killed in the crash. Jose was an exceptional colleague. Let's see what else. Let's get to the good stuff here.
You want to
Miami.
skip down to Ecuador's transport
Yeah,
minister.
there we go. That's what I'm looking for. The magnitude of this tragedy is impossible to comprehend. There are no words. Ecuador's transport minister said the nation's intelligence chief.
Huh.
Sorry, I got a call in the middle of the show. The intelligence chief was amongst those that died in the crash. That's interesting. He and his wife were killed in the crash. Today, Michelle and Stephanie left us too soon, thinking of their family, especially their children and parents. So therein lies anytime an intelligence chief dies in a mysterious helicopter crash.
But I want to point out that it's an intelligence chief of a Spanish-speaking nation with a Spanish-speaking reporter also on board.
Right.
A lot of times when you are an intelligence chief and you want to give some deep information to your journalist friend, you go to another country in another part of the world to reveal that secret.
Exactly.
And on something like a helicopter where there's background noise, and then all of a sudden the helicopter crashes. Interesting.
Yeah, very interesting.
Am I speaking out of turn to say, hey, isn't it? Do we remember that? Didn't the Soros network put some pretty serious money into capturing Telemundo as part of trying to turn Latinos?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. Don, that's more Don's area.
You got me here. I don't know either.
I'm gonna fact check myself. Hold on. Go ahead.
All right, C. Westby has gifted 5 subscriptions over on the Rumble chat. Thank you, brother. 3 of those were immediately snarked up. So if you do not have a Rumble membership, jump in and see if you can get one of the last 2.
Jay Sutt makes a great point. If Kobe went down on a chopper here, I ain't jumping on one in Africa.
Yeah, that's not a joke.
I will point out that while Kenya is probably the most technologically advanced African country, Africans as a whole are not known for their love of preventive maintenance.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons why many of those companies are entirely staffed by foreign workers.
Yeah.
Oddly enough.
Oh no, it was Univision that I was thinking of, not Telemundo.
The one that if I remember correctly, Telemundo is the one that's more conservative because I think the Cuban
Well,
American.
that was the point of the investment, but yeah, I was wrong. It was Univision.
All right. So I will not be going on any vacation helicopter rides unless the pilot is a burly black man named TC.
Caravaggio, cause of death, Africa.
Cause of death. This is Africa.
And listen,
exactly
you could
right.
say this about this crash. TIA, right?
Yeah, this is Africa. That's exactly right. All right. Let's move on, shall we?
Well, potentially moving on, but also potentially the same story.
Well, it kind of covers both the last two, right? Eric Prince has announced the creation of Victus Air Defense. Today, we are launching Victus Air Defense System, a first of its kind company offering air defense as a service to protect critical infrastructure worldwide. Drones have become the cheapest and fastest growing threat to commercial and civilian sites globally. The problem has expanded from the battlefield to the boardroom. Ports, energy facilities, and industrial assets now face the same low cost, hard to detect threats as militaries do without defenses to match. We have built Victus air defense systems to close the gap. This is not just a business opportunity, but a societal requirement. Rather than selling hardware for clients to install and operate themselves, Victus provides, I would imagine, a turnkey service. Let's see. Victus provides air defense as an end-to-end service, protecting clients' assets and airspace on an ongoing basis. We will assemble the best detection, mitigation technologies for a given site, manage them ourselves with the experienced operators, and update our systems as the threat evolves. Victus has strategic partnerships with Swarmer, the autonomous drone software company, which has a stake in the business. We are in advanced discussions to potentially join venture partners, initial customers, details of which will follow as soon as they are confirmed. I tell you, there are a lot of these robo turret companies out there who are probably chomping at the bit to sell robo
Durna
turrets.
said finally a customer for Metalstorm. Listen, there were a lot of
Exactly.
maritime security companies that liked Metalstorm, but Metalstorm just didn't have the right idea at the right time. Now Metalstorm makes a lot more sense. But this mission, this new arm of Victus has been around for a while. In fact, Victus are the troops that are on the ground in Haiti. But this new arm of Victus does two things. It creates an anti-drone thing for the private citizen, but it also single-handedly saves 511's branding. 511 was drifted so far from where they were. Now all these guys will be wearing 511 gear and shooting down drones. So great move.
Okay, I'm sorry. You just said a name that's a blast from the past. Metalstorm. You talking about the electronic ignition?
Yeah. Yep.
Oh,
yep.
Okay. All right.
The Boxo ammo that fires itself, essentially.
The Boxo electronically fired 22 caliber. Yes.
If we weren't giant pussies about it, those things would be all over the southern border by now. It's the thing they tried to market.
Metalstorm had a lot of uses. If you're on a pirate boat and you're attempting to board somebody else, and somebody just sent 1,000 rounds of 22 caliber at you with one trigger pull, you are pretty much all done. So.
Yeah. All right. I'm sorry. I saw something that I have to now include in the freaking show notes.
Well, I just realized something that needs to be included in this next clip, but it's not there. I mean, it's all right because we get copyright hit it, but the
what is
low
it?
rider.
So yes, this is if you remember earlier in the week we showed you the the M1117s poised and ready for security operations. Well, here is one who was in security operations, and this is, I mean, like, there's a downside to wheeled vehicles, and this is it. And if you look at the next one coming up, there's a front wheel failure. But the other thing is that these guys are getting it. They're not just kind of there for show like in a lot of places. These guys are all go no show. They are they're actually taking the fight to the bad guys, and they're doing it with these are their kind of the prideful battle scars. Though, Joe, look at this right here. Look, it looks like there's something took a chunk out of this one right here. Like if you like on the top. No, no, no.
Yeah.
Let it go. Yeah, right there. Because when I look, yeah, it looks like something maybe fell across it or something. I don't know. Like it, because the next one doesn't have that. I thought maybe at first that was just like a indentation or whatever, but nope, doesn't appear to be there on that one. So it makes me feel like something took a chunk out of that one.
Oh well, bad things happen to bad people. No, I think they probably hit IEDs or ran over some sort of a buried device in the road.
Yeah. Yeah, because the ELN have been using IEDs. This is specifically the group that they tend to be going after. Colombian Army M1117 ASV armored vehicles returns after clashes against terrorist groups in Cuaca department by orders of the president. Despite the damage to the tanks, the soldiers emerged victorious from battle. So we've
There was
seen
no
a lot.
tanks in those photos. Just
I know, but
Look,
Thanks, Michael.
we've consulted Michael Tracy,
Michael
and in
well,
fact, there
see,
are a lot of tanks.
the joke's on you. Michael Tracy actually did the reporting on this, so rate this
Punch raises a
translation.
good point. Those tires may be shot to shit, but I don't want to see what the other guy looks like.
Yeah, exactly right. Exactly right. I love how they have an American Armored Division like patch on these on the front of it, on the lower glacis in the front.
Yeah, it looks like a old Ironsides patch. Yeah,
exactly right. And if it says 3 on it, then that would be Hell on Wheels. That was always my favorite Armored Division from
Popcorn
back
Power
in the day.
asks, how is that tire still running? Internal run flat structure. Yes, internal run flat structure. But I guarantee you that the auto reinflators on that are not doing a bit of good.
Yeah, when there's not much tire left, then it's just one of those kind of things that but the fact that they're actually able to continue on under their own power kind of shows you how those run flats actually work.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to the next one here. So we got another success in the war, the war against the narcotraficantes. Harsh blow to narco-terrorism. Alias Duber was captured, leader of the La Libertad group, and wanted for extortion and conspiracy to commit crimes in Colombia. So he's definitely taken the fight to enemies of the country here. It makes me feel like this is all stuff that could have been done by the last government, but for whatever reason, Gustavo Petro had a direct interest in not doing this, Joe. It's almost like, maybe communism wants this kind of thing.
Boy, that thing said GOES. I thought it was going to be one just like that patch that says POES, Protracted Operations and Extraction Specialists. Who's?
Oh, that's funny. What's funny is they do blur the guy's face out, which is they've named him, so it's interesting that they would blur his face out. But that's from the actual source of the video. All right. Let's move on to that's the end of odds and ends. Joe, you want to talk a little bit about tactical-wisdom.com?
Yeah. So here's some tactical wisdom. Don't take an armored security vehicle into where you should be taking actual armored combat vehicles. That's piece of tactical wisdom number one. Number two is we have a lot of classes coming up. We also still sell books, despite what it appears based upon book sales. So if you want a tactical wisdom book, head over to tactical-wisdom.com, pick some up. I'll sign them. I might even do some artwork in them. But our next class is coming up is Basics Epistles for Women. That class is filling up pretty quick. And the day after that, on August 30th, we have Personal Protection in the Home, which is another NRA course with some actual pretty good tactical shooting from within your home, kneeling, shooting around cover, doing all kinds of interesting things, and making sure we can engage targets effectively. So come and take those classes. If you are considering our fall training week, you need to get registered or at least let NC Scout or K know that you are coming. Because enrollment's a little low and they're feeling like they really can't make that journey unless they have students in the class. So if you're thinking about taking RTO September 18th through the 20th, let them know. If you're thinking about taking advanced RTO September 21st through the 23rd, let them know. If you're thinking about taking close quarters battle level 2, let K know. If you're going to on the 24th take join me, I'll be in the class. If you're going to take Hard Target Traveler, get signed up. And then if you're going to take Matt's SIGINT course, the 25th through the 27th, please sign up and let Matt know you will be there so that we can actually have a good time and get all these things going and have all these people out here. Come on out and take a class and have a good time. Rocks of Life, I know you need to register. Get in there. Come on out. It's going to be a good time.
Yeah. Can I just say some going back to your books, Joe? You know, it's one of those kind of things. It's always kind of it's either a lot or a little, right? You know, one of the things like I know everybody in the chat probably already has your book because these are our people, right? You know, like and you know we're preaching to the choir to them. But here's the thing: you guys interact with people all the time that need a little tactical wisdom in their lives. And you a lot of times you don't realize it and you're not sure as fuck aren't going to give your copy away because hell, you may need it, right? So my recommendation is, you know, at least have an extra copy of book one. And you know, that's a great kind of carry in your bag book. Because it's a good carry in your bag book. Like, let's be honest, if you're going to be out and about and stuck, that's a good book to have. If nothing happens, some of the verses in there will kind of remind you of why you do the things you do. But the you know the information is good to have. Be ready just to hand that sucker off. You know, you're going to come across people who, you know, like you never know when handing off a free copy of or a gifted copy of Tactical Wisdom could make a difference in their life. So
Yeah, I can
definitely
tell you there are several fans who have bought like 5 copies of book one because they keep giving theirs away. And yeah, it's a good conversation starter and a good way to get people involved.
Yeah.
So good stuff. And be prepared. Thanks. It's gonna be great watching Jack's redhead stab you all day in the one day combatives. Watching her choke you out all day. So that'll be a good time. Don't forget, though, for those of you who are going down to NC Scouts in October, I'll be doing a half-day knife combatives between Scout and Recce, and then a full day unarmed combatives that includes both regular stand-up combatives and ground fighting that Thursday, and then I'm doing community security apps down there. So get on out there.
All right. Hunch Dirty Roofer for $2 says Scott, the only parsley named him, so you really can't find him because they all have 6 to 7 names in proper Catholic tradition. Yes, that's exactly right. There we go. Oh, the last C Westby gifted membership was just taken by Ghost Eater Eddie. All right. So here we go. In the midst of an ISIS-inspired terror plot and continuing war with Iran, Threats are rising both on the domestic and international fronts. When violence can erupt without warning and communications fail, you need independent tools you can rely on. Brush Beater Store has you covered with serious radio gear and training. AR-152 Pro, a rugged, high-performance handheld radio built like a tank for 10-watt tri-power output, massive 12,000 milliamp battery, built-in GPRS with APRS tracking, expanded frequency coverage, including airband and multiple antennas for superior range when cell service dies. Back it with the RTO course, hands-on, no BS training that teaches you how to build a real signals operating instructions, or SOI, manage frequencies under pressure, and run secure group communications in high threat environments. Get the AR-152 Pro at brushbeater.store/product/AR-152-Pro, or enroll in the RTO course at brushbeater.store/collection/trainings. Use code CFC10 for 5% off all radios, accessories, and courses. Orders over $150 shipped for free. Big thanks to Matt at Brush Beater Store for powering the Council on Future Conflict as the ISIS-inspired terror threat grows and Iran war continues. Head to Brush Beater Store, enter code CFC10, and build the connected security presence your community needs. Now, back to the show. Yeah, I mean, when a gal says that she's gonna blow up a government building because ISIS told her to do so, we're dealing with some real smart people. Um, all right, guys, I'm just gonna lay this first one out there, and we can just kind of kick it around here. FBI has disrupted an ISIS-inspired terror plot in New York where a woman planned to bomb the state capitol while lawmakers were inside. Now, if you're going to bomb a state capitol with the lawmakers inside, I mean, I guess New York is as good a one to bomb as any. But it's almost funny how you get the Muslim extremist as the mayor of New York City, and all of a sudden this kind of stuff starts popping up in New York.
It's not the first time that legislature's been bombed. They're bombed almost every day. But
35-year-old Jessica Bowie allegedly pledged her allegiance to ISIS and bought an inert explosive device and a firearm from 2 informants yesterday. This comes after she spent 2 weeks surveilling the Capitol and scheming with informants online. So, I mean, the good news is almost nine out of every 10 people trying to sell bombs online are working for the FBI. Actually, probably even more than that. But the irony is I just see this as some duped, like lonely white woman who has had total failure as a female adult, had some kind of woke realization that ISIS is the way, and then got after it. I mean, only an idiot convert would be this bold, right?
You want to play it?
I mean, guys, go ahead and
Take care.
You want to play the video? Yeah. Play the video.
Thank you. Well, breaking moments ago, the FBI says it disrupted a potential ISIS-inspired terror plot in New York. The agency tells Fox they've arrested a 35-year-old Albany woman accused of plotting to bomb the state capitol and kill lawmakers. According to a criminal complaint, Jessica Bowie pledged allegiance to ISIS and allegedly planned to hide a bomb inside a DoorDash bag, hoping to strike while state senators were meeting. Governor Kathy Hochul expected to speak next hour, where we could get more information about all of this. Sandra.
All right.
Take care.
Oh, the arrest picture is exactly what you would expect.
She was radicalized during COVID when she realized she was prettier with half her face covered.
Oof.
Yeah. Oh my God, you guys. Do you guys want to see the arrest picture? It's in the comments below, Watcher. So I don't need to send you the link.
All right.
You'll know it when you see it.
Shocking. Surprising absolutely no one.
Oh, but Muhammad said he loved me. Don, what do you have to say for yourself?
Myself, rarely anything. But in this particular case, this is basically the product of 50 years of telling women to be fat, disgusting pigs and that everything will be fine and that women are owed everything. And then eventually everyone stops paying attention to them except Muhammad, who says, go blow up the New York city council or, the state legislator building.
She looks exactly like someone who you could call up and say, hey, I've got this great idea. Do you want to bomb the parliament? And because a male person was paying attention to her, she would say, yes, I would do that for you, honey.
Yeah.
And surprisingly, that's how a lot of these things go. You're going to find that she was given an inert bomb and then they decided to stop her, right?
Yeah, can I just say that this I mean this woman is giving off like 95 to 85 IQ vibes in the worst way possible. And so that's actually one of the sad things is that most of the people, and I think this is true in the Middle East as well, most of the people who end up becoming suicide bombers are literally these kind of dupes, these kind of low IQ dupes who are sold a bill of goods and then sent off to their great reward, i.e., the burning pits of hell. For and they had no. I don't want to take any of their personal responsibility away because she's personally responsible for all of this. That being said, some people are easier to fool than others, right?
Yeah. Easier to manipulate into agreeing to something. I'll point out that once again, as I do regularly, the folks in the Michigan alleged plot against Whitmer never said yes. They just also never said no.
Yeah. That's a great point. I mean, Don, as somebody who has felt the sting of the federal government in the past, I mean, what's your kind of take on how the federal government, kind of, there is some manipulation that goes on, but there is also some responsibility and some intent on the people who they manipulate now.
So because my interaction with the federal government was quite so politically charged, I don't want to, give everybody a free pass or anything, but I can tell you that my indictment in particular just contained overt lies, right? Like they had video, said the video said something, showed something other than what it did, and then said, hey, we're going to indict him. Now, that said, that's not everybody. That's not every case all the time. However, if you want me to trust the FBI ever again, I'm that's not going to happen. Right? It is an institution that exists for its own perpetuation. To be generous, they bend the truth in all circumstances.
Hunch Dirty Roofer for $2 says what all the newspapers are leaving out is the fact that she changed her name with her Islamic conversion. They should stop dead naming her and use the name that show how ridiculous these people are. I mean, you're not wrong. So there's another one. Did you show the picture already, Watcher, of her buying a cart full of nails, evidently, like at Home Depot or something? I mean, so when you see these people walking around, yes, you should be afraid of them. When they're buying a cart of nails, like if I saw this woman buying like a thing of nails like that in a store, I would legitimately think that's like bomb making materials when somebody like that buys it. If I buy it, I'm doing a project. If she buys it, it's bomb making materials.
Yeah. See, when you say that out loud, I think of what's in my garage, and I have a lot more nails than that in my garage. So, dear feds, I'm not making bombs. Do not raid the house for nails.
It's all about like the profiling of the person who, and you have to profile these, but you can't not profile people.
I got bad news though. That's not actually her. That's just Punch the Dirty Roofer at Home Depot picking up supplies for a job.
Well,
I will
he's
only
taking,
buy. No, hold on. I'm sorry.
he's taking
I'm
his skin cancer protection a little too seriously, I think.
I'm only buying that if that's Hunch plus two of his Mexican workers all stacked on each other's shoulders. That's not.
Yeah,
There's a
Hunch is
height
not a
difference
big
here.
dude, yeah.
Well, there's another picture of her evidently taking pictures wearing. So she's surveilling. Oh my God, guys. She actually surveilled the Capitol building wearing that getup. So yeah, like once again,
She's not very smart.
just some random fat white woman starts taking pictures of the Capitol. You think somebody's a Lucky Lou wants to get a picture of the state Capitol. When somebody in a burqa does it, it's like, well, there's a terrorist surveilling for her boyfriend, right? No. In fact, it was for herself. Yes. I don't know. You can't make this shit up, right? I mean, it's like they do it to themselves. Uh, I almost feel bad like making fun of her, but not really. I mean, it's kind of like, you know, all the negatives about
I
her off
guarantee
of
you
that.
she has a 2-digit IQ.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying, dude. I mean, there's no fucking way that this is not like a borderline retard, and probably like a meth head on as well, or whatever.
Joe, you are a
Hunch,
generous man.
That's cold, man.
I'm not sure.
He's coming at Watford pretty hard, man.
See what he says, Scott. Don't feel bad for the retard.
'Cause I'm not short. You're just freakishly tall.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
Hunch is correct. That's all I'm saying.
I'm just waiting for the federal prosecute or the defense attorney to come out and do like an insanity, not an insanity, or like an incompetence plea for her. She was too stupid to know what she was doing.
Limey G, who is a fantastic supporter of Camp Ponderosa and all we do here on the show, she put out her cats were obviously not giving her enough attention. Well done.
Facts.
And Jim, yes, I saw the black preacher at Gilbert City Council meeting. Tell me what he said that was wrong. There was nothing. But yes, I saw it.
All right, let's I guess they have a statement by special agent in charge from Albany.
Hold up. I gotta back up. Don talking about anyone's height is odd. Lost Core nails you, Don.
Look, I am normal human height, and I will hear no different from any of you giants.
Okay.
The one thing that I felt good about hanging around you guys is outside of the Nephilim in the group, I felt generously apportioned as far as my height in the group. So.
The only person we made fun of that was present about height, well, we took a lot of photos of the Nephilims with one very short person. So
yes,
it was way too much fun.
Oh, that was funny. All right. Let's give this piece of film a watch here.
As alleged in the complaint, Miss Bowie swore her allegiance to ISIS through multiple audio recordings in both English and Arabic. She clearly stated her desire to carry out an attack at the New York State Capitol. In her own words, as alleged in the criminal complaint,
look at the guy in the background.
Said, quote,
I know.
I want to destroy as much of the building as possible.
He's trying to keep a straight face. I mean, it's kind of like, oh, God.
It was his case. You could tell he's the lead agent, right? That's why he's all, they're talking about me on TV.
And kill the senators while they're meeting. I want them to lose a lot of important documents as well. She continued, as referenced in the complaint, quote, I don't want to take this kind of risk and have it kill, 2 or 3 people. What good is that? The complaint alleges that she arranged to have an explosive device made out to carry this attack, even purchasing several of the required materials herself. She conducted surveillance at the Capitol at least 5 times taking dozens of photos. She requested a gun she intended to use on any law enforcement officer who tried to stop her. More specifically, according to the complaint, she said, quote, something powerful, but easy enough to conceal. So if the cops do get towards me during the operation, I can shoot back. As alleged in the complaint, when she met up with the confidential human source to retrieve the materials she asked for, she paid the agreed upon price for the gun, and when asked to make a donation to the purported bomb maker, she provided another $200. And I want to
Hold
be
up.
clear.
Stop.
She
Pause. One, you should always be suspicious of the federal government when they say confidential human source.
Yes.
Two, she requested all the explosive materials which were provided by the FBI. In other words, she did not have access to commit this crime. If you don't have the capability to commit the crime without the help of the FBI, you did not conspire to commit a crime. You were entrapped. And third, why would she need to buy a gun from the FBI when she could have just went out and got one herself, which would make their case stronger? This entire case will fall apart in the courts. I'm just throwing it out there.
And this goes back to what I was talking about earlier. In all circumstance, the FBI bends the truth. And the problem is, if this lady is who they purport her to be, Joe is correct. This will fall apart later. So the actual people who want to destroy the country are going to end up getting released because the FBI sucks.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll be honest with you. I think they should just be able to hold her in prison just because of her poor taste in fashion. But that's just me. So anyway,
Vice and virtue are actually just the fashion police.
I just have to comment that this man's face is meme worthy. There was a time and a day in which we would have seen this man's face and a new meme would have been born from it. Sad. All right, moving on.
Yeah, so Thomas Massey actually makes this exact same point. He says the FBI gave her the bomb, the gun, and the funds to spend at Home Depot. The government literally encouraged and enabled this terrorist plot in order to foil it. One day they'll have to admit how the January 5th, January 6th pipe bomb happened as well. Yeah.
If they have to tell you how to do it, you had no intention of doing it yourself and no capability of doing it yourself.
Now, here's the thing, right? The parts of this that she did do. So she did pledge allegiance to ISIS. That's a terrorist organization. So that is illegal in of itself, right? And then
that's pretty easy to get a sub 60 IQ person to do.
Well, but see that's a good way to get a sub 60 IQ person just in jail for the next 10 years as well. So we don't have to worry about them anymore. And then she also surveilled the Capitol, which with the intent to do anything, right?
Let's analyze your last statement, bro. We don't entrap people just to put them in jail to get them out of our hair.
Well, I didn't say people. Muslim. Well, I better not say that out loud. Never mind.
I bet you think flock cameras are a great thing.
Oof.
Wow, dude. I can't believe you said that.
I mean, you're the one that said that, not me.
I was quoting you.
Did I say that?
You said that getting her to say that is a great way to get her in jail for 10 years. That's what
I was making a joke about. I'm not going to say this out loud, but I just put it in the private chat.
No, I see that, but she's not really a Muslim. She doesn't actually believe that.
Well,
she did it because somebody convinced her it was a great way for her to be liked.
So then we get to the point. Then are all the 95 IQ people or the 65 IQ people in Pakistan, are they culpable for what they do? Then the answer is yes, they are culpable for what they do.
Yeah, but see, the difference is they believe it. She doesn't actually believe it. She's doing it to be liked by somebody else. Guaranteed.
I'm not willing to write that.
I'm not willing to put her in prison because of that. I'm sorry.
Well, but what does she have to do to convince you that she really believes it then?
I already told you she had to have actually done all of those things herself.
No, just to join ISIS, right? If she believes she's actually joining ISIS by making her affirmative statements.
That's a false question, because she never had the thought before the confidential human source came to her. Guaranteed.
But what if she did, though? If she joined ISIS, found herself unable to do any of this, and then found the human, the confidential source, who then kind of entrapped her. Let's be honest. I mean, I'm not making any claims there. I'm just saying, like, she has to be responsible for what she actually did, right? And the things that she actually did are are pledge her allegiance to ISIS, surveil the Capitol,
But the ideation is the problem.
Right.
That
So
none of those ideas came from her herself. That's the problem I have. And
But
what you're saying is, no,
that's only
it's okay because it gets her out of our hair.
No,
It's
that's
not
only
okay.
true. If she was a Christian walking down the street and met a confidential human assortment, then you are 100% correct. If she is a frustrated ISIS lover because her boyfriend Muhammad doesn't like her anymore because she won't kill herself, and
You
then
don't know that any of that is true.
we don't know. That's exactly right. I'm just saying, if
no, but
that's true, then
we have a lot
But
of
we do
history
know
on
that the
this.
ISIS pledge came from the FBI. So
Yeah.
I cannot trust it.
Exactly, right? Like, we
I see
have
what you're saying.
so many years of the FBI going to people and being like, "Oh, you're vaguely malcontent. Have you considered pledging your life to Satan, ISIS, or whatever else?" And then, "Oh, by the way, we're going to give you, I don't know, a road flare that says, has TNT with written on the side of it in magic marker. Oh, now you have an explosive. We're going to arrest you for terrorism." And this goes back to the problem I was saying earlier. The FBI has been a piece of garbage for way too long. They don't get the benefit of the doubt anymore, and they shouldn't.
Yeah, no, I'm with you there. I mean, so they're going to have to prove this in court that she did in fact do the things without her, and if they entrapped her to do these things, then she should be released.
Let me
That
address
being
something here. Earl Corgi says, I disagree with Joe on this. The Watermelon Alliance, this country needs to be ruthlessly purged. 100%, I agree with you. However, you don't know that this woman ever had this thought of becoming a member of the Watermelon Alliance independently. We don't encourage entrapment.
So here's
That's
the thing:
all.
if she
had attempted to do all of this without the FBI's involvement, I'm with you 100%. But we know that she did not and could not.
Well, no, we don't know. We have
because
good
if she could have bought a gun, she would have.
Yeah.
If she could have bought explosives, she would have.
Well,
Yeah,
like,
so
for instance, if she's
what
a
I'm
felon,
waiting
for
for
instance.
to come out in court here is that a different confidential human source gave her the money to buy the gun and bomb, because that is coming.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, no. I think that's true. I think they already said that they basically provided her the money to give to buy the gun and everything like that. So that's the reason why they're fucked on those charges, right? But if she could
then to the original
hear me out.
complaint, right?
If she converted to Islam, say 5 years ago, right, and she met an Islamic guy and they had a breakup, and then she goes through this kind of like descending rabbit hole into like the ISIS stuff, and then meets these confidential human informants, then that's where the ISIS stuff, I think, holds water. But if you guys are right, if 18 months ago she was going to church and then meets Muhammad the informant, and then
let's be honest, she's not going to be a likable person, right? 18 months ago, she was talking about how the blue-haired thing since sliced bread. She was probably a piece of shit to begin with, but being a piece of shit is not illegal.
Right.
It all depends on the
fact
kind
that
of
she's a sole actor tells you that these other thoughts weren't there prior to this. You know what I mean?
If we were raining down charges, we were raining down 50 charges, right? If they were arresting a whole city block of New York, I think the maybe this is a terrorist cell holds water, right? But we found a fat retard who hated America because she's been propagandized for 50 years by America. And we went, hey, have you considered pledging your life to ISIS, an otherwise not defunct, but pretty powerless organization? at least on U.S. soil. Come on, man. Like, what other organization would we accept this from? Like I don't know, Soviet Russia is recruiting the communists to blow. Like, Soviet Russia hasn't been a thing since 93. Come on. Like, the problem is, again, that the FBI has done this hundreds or thousands of times. And by the way, that's just in my lifetime, and gotten caught hundreds of times for sure. And so, even though I'm looking at a fat piece of shit that hates my country and probably is a worthless waste of skin, I now have a fat, worthless waste of skin versus the most objectively known lying organization. And I keep track of TDA.
No, I'm with you. I mean, like I said, it's all about the timeline, right? And about like the sequence and where their informants interjected themselves. If they interjected themselves early and all this stuff is that, then it's all fruit of the poison tree, right? And they can't use it, and basically they have to throw out the entire case. The sad thing is that if they are the ones that created her, then ultimately when she gets off and then commits some other crime later, then it's the Fed's fault that she committed the crime in the first place.
Still never
Right.
going to encourage entrapment as a way to deal with our enemies, because the tool they will use against your enemies, they will use against you.
Right. Look, man, one of the truths that I don't talk about very much, and used to a lot more, is that when you're running the show and you're saying the federal government is doing fucked up things, someone will contact you about once a quarter and be like, "Hey, man, have you considered blowing up a federal government building?" And like, "No, federal
Yeah.
agent, I have not. But as long as you're here, did you want to give me my FBI file? Because you fucking piece of shit, everyone knows you're doing this."
Yeah, so Durna makes actually a good point. A lot of the converted terrorists are people who converted like 5 minutes ago. They were just malcontents to begin with. And that's what we're seeing, I think, with a lot of these leftists that are saying, have you considered, like the trans types who are reading the Quran and saying, there's some great ideas in the Quran.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't be surprised if she's one of those. Like, she was a pro-abortion, or pro-Palestine, liberal, woke liberal, just a couple months ago. So we'll see.
Marlene probably has the ultimate truth. I think it's more likely she was just pretending to be a cute blonde on Tinder, and some FBI analyst got catfish, and this is payback.
That sounds the most
That's
likely.
real as fuck.
All right. Anyway, so yeah, we'll see what comes out of this. I mean, if she is in fact an earnest convert, she deserves what she gets. But if she's another victim of the FBI, then God help
Hold
her.
on. How many earnest converts have we seen in the history of the FBI doing this, which basically spans back to about 2001?
Well, it's kind of like the only thing that I will argue against that, because I'm with you there, is the number of earnest converts that ISIS has managed to get to blow themselves up all over the world, which is shockingly high.
So that number is true, right? Outside of U.S. soil, there is a I don't even know that it's a high hit rate for them, but they are producing numbers, right?
Yeah.
On U.S. soil, how many earnest converts have we found? And the simple answer to this question is, how many bombs have gone off on U.S. soil?
Yeah, that kind of goes back to my statement about like 9 out of 10 people who have and are willing to sell explosives also have a FBI badge underneath there. So it's literally like when you show up to the bomb market, everybody selling bombs is in the federal government.
Yeah, well, so it's not just that, right? The first guy that we did this to post 9/11 was like a cab driver who had reported to the FBI that ISIS tried to contact him, and we prosecuted him anyway. And it turns out that the ISIS guy was an FBI agent, right? This is the history of the FBI and ISIS on American soil.
Yeah. All right. let us move on to the next thing here. So, why blow things up when you can just burn them down? That seems to be a
Right.
shocking trend here, especially with Christian churches. They are shockingly combustible in America. Yeah, go ahead and play.
Councilwoman Leah Halton Pope says she warned the administration this could happen.
What's really challenging is just yesterday afternoon, I may have shared with the administration I was concerned about another fire, and then it happened a couple of hours later. This is a problem.
This
Is that a
comes
Russian
just
fire truck?
6 months after a 4-alarm fire at the former St. Anne's Church that caused an estimated $600,000 in damage.
I have a lot of seniors who live in and around this neighborhood, and so the impact on their health is tremendous. In addition to just the blight, there are abandoned buildings across the street.
There were conversations about demolition after the fire in January, and while Halton Pope believes the school needs to come down, she hopes the church can be preserved.
The city itself, if we were to demo it, it would cost us a lot of money, but those costs get pushed on to the owner. I don't think that they understand that even if we demolish it, it doesn't mean that we don't have any other recourse.
Halton Pope says she plans to explore every option available, from possible fines to finding a way to secure the building.
And then there's a conversation with the police department to figure out who the arsons are, because they should be held accountable.
As city officials continue discussing their next steps, we'll of course keep you updated both on air and online at WIVB.com.
So, in addition to that church in New York, a 175-year-old Baptist church in Pennington, Alabama, is no longer standing after it caught fire. Shocking that these similar cases happening in different parts of the country all occurred at Christian churches. So, what do you think? Churches hiring 24-hour security now is what we're going to have to do.
So a
maybe
couple
we
days ago, we ran a story about the local Muslim group trying to buy a church. You know what happens when they can't buy a church? The church then has a fire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
So
kind of like a mafia thing. It'd be a shame if you didn't have fire insurance and something happened to your building.
yeah.
There it is.
So Squishy Hunter is pretty on point here. This is impossible. All the flock cameras are preventing this, right?
Exactly right. I was actually gonna make the joke. How many flock cameras have helped us find arsonists?
None.
Yeah, it's
on
funny
the-
how
on
that
the-
works, right?
On the other hand, back to the point I making earlier about ISIS, somehow or another, these churches do end up burning down, and somehow the FBI just doesn't seem to have anything. It's almost like they can't embed in the real terrorist cells and get the people who are actually burning everything to the ground.
They should have put a garage pull out in front of it that looked like a noose. We'd have gotten 20 FBI agents there inside of a half hour.
Oh man, dear local church everywhere, that is the correct answer.
Yeah. So I mean, it's just one of those kind of things that you don't like to see it happen, but what are we doing about it, right? Like, so my recommendation would be, if you have a church that you're a member of, consider donating some security cameras, things like this. I mean, I think it's a legitimate threat nationwide, and this is one of those kind of things where it's like about hardening the targets, right? You're making them, and worst comes to worst, you can't have 24/7 security at your church. Then at least if you've got video to be able to hold accountable the people who are doing this. I mean, Joe, that's more of a security thing. Joe, what's your kind of thoughts on what churches could do to kind of?
Well, what everyone needs to do is realize that law enforcement's purpose is not to protect you. It is to investigate crimes after they happen and enforce the laws against the wrongdoers.
Yep.
Security and safety is your responsibility. So if you belong to a church, you should be talking to your church about what they're doing for security and what you can do to protect it. Relying on the police is not the proper answer from your pastor. look back at why knights and the military orders were created. Governments weren't protecting the churches and the pilgrims on the road, so the church decided to hire their own dudes and do it themselves.
Mhm.
Same kind of situation here. Set up a church security team, have people watching and monitoring your church. Your church should have cameras 24/7, at least to record what happens, and preferably have something that responds to incidents at it. So you've got to take responsibility yourself, and your church has to take responsibility as a collective group for safety and security.
Yeah, I think that's good advice. Don, Texas didn't Texas when they started having all this Epic City stuff start having some burning churches?
Yeah, there's a few down here. The numbers aren't massive yet, so everybody's not all excited about it. But I want to say right about the time that Plano hit the news, a church in Plano burned. Um, it is not a coincidence that we import the conquering religion and suddenly every other religion starts to have problems. This seems super obvious, and yet we all want to argue about it for some reason.
Now, I this is just coincidence that I just happened to find this link. Watch, I'm putting in the private chat right now. But I mean, this is almost hard to believe. Reports of a mosque catching fire in Dublin have sparked a strong reaction online. Here's the question: can violence against any place of worship ever be justified? So evidently they can burn down and collapse, probably especially when you make them in an old church that's made of wood, probably. But
I would suggest that the real overlap with where they can burn is where there's a bunch of very, very angry Irish.
people who have a a history in burning and blowing things up
A little bit.
tend to find a way.
Jay Bjornson mentions that I think there is someone who teaches a course in securing your community. Seems full of wisdom tactically. Yeah, this is true.
That's right. I mean, this is ultimately what happens when you give an invading force the cover of religion in your country. Islam is not a religion; it is a government structure with a religious cult attached to it.
I would like to hear the
cover.
fire department radio traffic that day. Hey, we got a mosque burning at whatever. Oh man, our truck blew a flat as soon as we pulled out of the station.
Oh man,
Give us a couple minutes to fix it. Engine 5, we're out of gas. We got to run by the gas station on the way. We'll be there.
Yep. Yeah, this is one of those kind of things where you're not going to find a lot of people getting just super upset about it when it starts happening, because it will start happening, because that's the like the lowest the lowest apple on the tree, right? Middle of the night, can of gas or whatever. That's the kind of thing that makes it really easy. That being said, I'm sure these mosques all have security, so keep that in mind. Because invaders, that's the way invaders think like invaders, and so they will invest in security. All right, let us move on, shall we? Yeah, so this is this is one of those kind of philosophical kind of takes on this, because as Christians, we're always told, like, turn the other cheek, blah blah blah. You shouldn't be hostile, or or whatever. So this is a kind of a post by Raymond Ibrahim, somebody I've talked about here on the show in the past. He says, everyone seems to take for granted that hostility and violence have no place amongst Christians. Former Archbishop of Canterbury, Rowan Williams, just asked Tommy Robinson, who has been vocal critic of Islam and Muslims in Britain, how attempting to lead a Christian disciples discipleship squares with the public rhetoric designed to produce hostility and violence. This ignores the fact that Jesus Christ himself used extraordinarily hostile language when against those whom he saw as corrupting society. He publicly called the scribes and the Pharisees hypocrites, blind fools, children of hell, and a brood of vipers, and sons of the devil. He violently overturned money changers' tables, made a whip of cords, and forcibly drove them and their animals out. So the real Christian question is not whether hostility or force can ever be justified. Scripture itself settles that. The question is hostile towards what? Force for whom? And under what circumstances? The modern assumption is that Christianity requires Christians to be eternally passive, agreeable, and nonconformist, doormats, even in the face of evil. That is not Christianity. It is a lie designed to neuter and make Christians vulnerable. Joe, I thought you might
Sounds true.
appreciate this. Yeah, because I've heard you make the same statement about, talking about the overturning tables and making whips of cords, driving the money changers out of the temple.
Well, Jay Clark put it right in the chat. Do not think I come to bring peace to the world. I come bearing a sword. So, and he also instructed his guys, hey man, if you don't have a sword, you should probably sell your coat. It's that important to get a sword.
Yeah.
He didn't want them to have a sword just because they were cool. He wanted them to have a sword because they needed to be able to fight and defend themselves because they were going to be attacked. They were going to be harmed. So this idea that Christians are supposed to be peaceful is crazy. Sure, we prefer peace. We would rather not. Even Paul said it in the Bible, as long as it is up to you, be peaceable with everyone. In other words, if somebody attacks you, you can't really be peaceable with them, right? Just don't go around attacking others. So, and in the Old Testament, the Lord is a man of war. Man of war is his name. So there's all kinds of biblical basis for being armed and defending yourself and all that. Even Jesus himself said, a strong man fully armed may protect his home and his belongings are safe.
But a point you made to me a long time ago is even if you reject a lot of the specific language in the Old Testament because of the New Covenant and in the New Testament, there's plenty of ammunition in the New Testament that allows you to do this. So this is not a kind of an Old Testament versus New Testament thing. This is Christianity allows you to take action against those who purport to corrupt a Christian society.
And Proverbs says to defend those who cannot defend themselves, hold back those staggering towards the slaughter, rescue those being led away to death. You can't rescue people being led away to death without violence. It's just the way that it is.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. I just thought that was kind of apropos of where we are with that. And this next one here, this is another kind of, if you want to, this is another kind of message that refutes the neutering of Christianity in the country here, right? And so we'll just play the video here, and I think Glenn kind of says it for himself.
Actually endorsed a Bible, and there's only, I think, 7 of them left. We have 3 copies of them, and it is the Bible, the only Bible. We have one of the copies because somebody in Philadelphia called us and said, I have this really old Bible, and I found it in my grandmother's attic, and it looks really, really old, and just wanted to offer it to you guys. I'll send it to you. And we said, what does it look like? And he explained it. We said, okay, can you open up the Bible and look at the first page? Does it say by order of Congress? And we're hearing him. Yeah, oh yeah, it does. We're like, okay, you're not giving that to us or anybody else. That's worth a fortune. That Bible is the first Bible. Congress, when they first got together, they said, we need a Bible printed in America that we can use in schools. So they authorized the Bible to be printed for schools. A little thing that has been conveniently erased. You don't ever hear, wait a minute, that's the only Bible that holds the endorsement from Congress ever in the history of America.
Yep. So basically, he says here, one of the first acts Congress ever, after winning the Revolutionary War, was to endorse a Bible, have it printed in America, something the British banned. And guess what? They endorsed it specifically to be used in schools. Revisionists try to erase our true history, but we still have the receipts. The nation wasn't found in spite of Christian value principles. It was built on them, and the founders wanted those principles taught to the next generation. Yeah, separation of church and state is absolutely a thing invented by the modern left to separate Americans from the rock that America was built on.
The separation of church and state meant the church as a creation of man. It did not mean separation from God.
Right. And specifically, it talks about a state church in,
Correct.
it doesn't talk about, keeping, ministers and things like that out of the public halls. So,
In all
and just
honesty, when
because,
they wrote that, they were not thinking of Muslims or Hindus or Jews. They were thinking of the various sects of Christianity and how they were all persecuted by the Anglican Church, right?
yeah.
It's just an interesting side point.
Blaine, you got it right. You got it in one here. It's all about control of morality. The left wants to determine morality just like they do language. 100%.
Hey, read the 100-year-old book on resistance to evil by force. This is not new, and that's the exact same concept that Ilyin was fighting during the Russian Revolution.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Control of morality.
Yeah, yeah. Separation of church and state was meant to keep the government out of Christian church affairs. Yes, exactly right. Anyway, I thought that was a kind of a good coda to the Christian church being under attack, and the potential for further ISIS-related terror and things like that. What is Sarah? What's her name? The former CIA gal who is always talking about terrorism.
Sarah
Adams. Thank you. She says, she's like, let me get this straight. The only ISIS person that you could find on was a confidential informant. It's like ISIS is not that hard to find on the internet.
That goes to prove my point, my friend. But hey, what do I know?
All right, here. Let's move on to our second topic. By the way, Don, are you back?
Yeah.
Any thoughts on what we were just talking about with Glenn and his Bible, his old congressional Bible?
No, because I think I missed all of it.
Oh, okay. Basically, the idea of church and state, and their liberals have defined essentially what is the current version of separation of church and state, not the actual intent of how the framers.
So, one, there isn't an actual intent of the framers. There's a letter from Jefferson to a church that was thinking about coming to the United States because they were tired of being interfered with by European governments, and they just wanted to worship how they wanted and be left kind of alone. To which Jefferson says there will be a wall of separation between church and state. The context of this is the government won't screw with you worshiping.
Exactly.
Now, what this practically turns into the moment the Supreme Court takes a hold of it is that somehow or another, churches are no longer allowed to influence politics, which is possibly the single dumbest statement ever made by the court, but they've made many, so let's not limit them. That said, we in the modern era love to look around and go, well, they meant literally everything. That's why it's okay if there's a giant Hindu statue of a cow god thing being built in Texas. But practically speaking, effectively, they meant the Protestant Reformation.
Yeah.
So much so that we banned Catholics in like a dozen states from holding office because the Catholics were a bunch of weirdos. Per the Protestant Reformation. Think whatever you want of that, dear Catholics of modern day, but it is true. And by the way, the first time the founders found Islam, the first thing they did was go, hey, can we just get along? And the second thing they did was deploy the Marine Corps to kill them. They were not fans of Muslims.
No, they
From
weren't.
the shores of Tripoli.
There it
Yes.
is.
Yep.
And to this day, the United States Marine Corps carries a reminder of that conflict in the Mameluke sword.
Yes.
So the interesting thing here is that can somebody, somebody mentioned swearing on a Quran in the chat. Can somebody, and this kind of goes to the old school Catholics, right? Because it's kind of, I think ever since the Vatican II or whatever, the kind of the structure is a little different, but essentially when if you were under the authority of somebody else, could you ever really be a true American? Because you had basically a higher calling. And I think that's exactly what you have with Muslims in government. And prior to Vatican II, probably you could make the same criticism of Catholics. I don't know if that's a ball of wax. What kind of American are you?
So I mean, there wasn't an inherent you can't be an American if you're Catholic at the founding.
Yeah.
But then again, we didn't argue over citizenship the way that we do now. So there might have been had that come up. But practically speaking, you sort of had to be Christian-ish. And there's some flexibility in that. The founders were not. No argument we have today would have been reflected at the time. They didn't care that much. But then again, when they start talking about immigration from other countries, they go to crime rates specifically as comparable to American law and go, well, there's just no possible way we can ever permit anybody from these regions because the output of them even existing is so bad that they would destroy the country. So no, we're not doing that. And we are cowardly, stupid, traitorous to the country, call it whatever you want today. And so we would never do any of that. We have to make up some reason why the worst people on earth are totally acceptable. The founders would be rolling in their graves hard enough to generate enough power for data centers if we could let them know what was going on, honestly. And we, after a century of liberal court rulings, and that is basically the case, right? It's about 1915 to now, dependent on exactly where you want to draw the line. And the simple fact that when FDR packed the court, he started the game that was, we must respect everything SCOTUS says as though it were the Bible. Here we are today with stupid, pathetic, kind of gay opinions about what is or is not acceptable in the United States. And everybody and their brother wants to pretend like, the founders would have wanted this. The founders would have killed these people in no uncertain terms.
Yeah. I don't disagree with you there. All right, let's move on to our next topic here. We've got Iran war because I thought this was an actual interesting development, and this is probably one of the this is all legitimate. This is actually one of the kind of the more significant developments in the last 6 months. All right, Iran is slowly realizing that President Trump and the U.S. military are succeeding in covertly sneaking oil out by the Strait of Hormuz to the tune of 10 plus million barrels. Some nights hit 15 to 20 million. That's pre-war flow. So they're doing this all at night under the cover of naval escorts through the Oman route. The U.S. is quietly breaking Iran's grip on the Straits of Hormuz, American forces reportedly protecting tankers. So let's play the video here and
The U.S. is
get the
quietly
story.
breaking Iran's grip on the Strait of Hormuz. American forces reportedly protecting tankers moving some 10 million barrels of oil every day through the waterway as President Trump opens up another front threatening economic D-Day for countries that help Tehran stay afloat. Let's bring in the former defense secretary. The U.S. is quietly breaking Iran's grip on the Strait of Hormuz. American.
I mean, I'll be honest with you. I think this is probably true, based on everything that I've seen. Don, I'll throw it to you first. What's your kind of take here?
It's the weekend, so we might have war on again in about 8 hours. That will change things, but this is probably pretty likely true as it sits right now.
Right.
But the war on the weekends, peace Monday through Friday, so that the markets sort of behave themselves, is obnoxious and tiresome, both from a strategic point of view and from a talking about this kind of view, because everything we say right now might change in 12 hours because it's Friday.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of those kind of things where, and several Iranians have basically sources have either said a blockade. Excuse me. The inability to sell oil and the inability to import, goods basically crushes them economically, and eventually they won't. A government that can't feed or equip its people will collapse no matter what. And then on the other side, you've got IRGC people saying, because of this, we're going to go on the offensive, which is kind of gets to what you're saying. Will Saturday be the point at which Iran decides to, break out the mother of all ballistic missile launches and shoot it not at America, but at, of course, its GCC neighbors, which would then piss them off to the point where they declare war on Iran as well. So it's kind of like, damned if you do, damned if you don't. Yeah, hold on a second. Here's a quote here. This is Iranian parliamentary speaker Mohammad Bagher Ghalibaf warned us the military strength alone could not ensure the Islamic Republic's survival, no matter how much military power we have. If people are hungry, we don't have the financial circulation, economic growth, and domestic production will not endure. He said during a meeting with Iranian and Iraqi business figures at Iran's embassy in Baghdad on Thursday. He also said economic stability and security were inseparable, warning that military security could not be sustained without a functioning economy. Security and the economy require each other. If we establish security but do not sustain it through the economy, it will not last. So, I mean, there's some realization, I think, on the Iranian side that this economic blockade could potentially be a killer to them.
So that goes to a theory that's been floated before, that Iran has been trying to push this out to the midterms in the hopes that Dems take a lot of the House and or the Senate, and then the various anti-war portions of America basically get Trump to just leave it alone wherever it is then.
Yeah.
And look, I'm not going to kid you. We are a war-weary nation in general. And so that's not a bad strategy. At this point, though, that means race to who gives up first.
Yeah. It becomes attrition, right?
Well, yeah, attrition, except for there's another added factor here, which is that every day it is difficult to get goods from that strait. The market finds yet more workarounds and invests more money in yet more workarounds.
Yeah,
and that's a permanent thing. That doesn't go away once the strait opens back up.
Well, Iran earlier in the week, this was an official in Iran basically said that it shouldn't be allowed to let the Arab countries to be able to build pipelines to bypass the Straits of Hormuz. That would be terrible.
I mean, already done. So
Yeah, well, I mean, Saudi Arabia's already got massive plans to go up through Iraq and then out through Syria, I guess now. So, should be interesting. Blaine says, Don.
Blaine.
Joe, what's your take on all this?
I think that wind conditions are the key thing for us. A wind condition is Iranian regime change. For Iran, a wind condition is mere survival, and every day that we don't have regime change, Iran wins the war. So they don't have to actually defeat us militarily to declare victory. They just have to survive the onslaught of the technological giant that is the United States military. If they can do that by reverting to their more baser instincts of being desert dwellers who live underground, they can win, and they can win every day. And each day we allow it to continue to go on is another day that we look foolish on the world stage. Iran is just targeting ships at will and using their proxies to do the same. And we are not responding. And we're going to say, oh, but we're being magnanimous. It doesn't come off that way to literally any observer in the world at all.
Yeah. If we were being magnanimous and running the strait and not bombing Iran off the face of the earth, then yeah, sure. But as long as they can influence basically anything that's going on in that strait, we look like chumps.
But wait, Donald Trump declared it's in a U.S. territory, so we won, right?
Well, the irony is that the real people talk about how letting Iran have a nuclear weapon has been the real problem, or let them develop or whatever without being molested was a real problem. No, allowing them to control the Straits of Hormuz and not essentially bypass them years ago. That now the problem there is that we had this whole Iraq war going on, which prevented making a pipeline through there. But still, going past. Bypassing the Straits of Hormuz should have been something that was on everybody's bucket list a long time ago.
So Blaine followed that up with, I think, what he actually meant to say.
Yeah.
And look, it worked last time, so why not try it again? Probably makes sense if you are Iran.
Yeah, you do have a point there, Blaine. He says they're going to try to influence the U.S. election. They did it with Carter. They think that the same thing with Trump. Trump, however, is not Jimmy Carter. That's correct. And I think that this is not going to have the same outcome as what they think. But it's just one of those kind of things.
I don't know that that's true, because what did we do in the last 24 hours? We released our winter gasoline quota early to try and artificially reduce the gasoline price. Well, what comes up in the next 2 months?
Yeah,
the midterm election, right?
Yeah, Joe, you make a great point in this. It was not a good idea when Biden did it, and it's not a good idea when Trump does it. So,
yeah, I was in the middle of making a great point, but yes.
So it's everything that has happened over the past, I don't know, month or two is behavior that says, oh, we think a resolution is coming. So if we can kick down the can down the road by like another month, then we're fine. And that's great if a resolution is coming. And that is going to be horrible when the chickens come home to roost if there's not a resolution sitting right around the corner.
yeah. All right. Let's see. Let's move on to the next item here. So you hate to see the first-person drones being used against IRGC people or Houthis, but that's exactly what we have here. 2 Iranian IRGC members have been killed in Yemen while helping the Houthis, according to Al Arabiya, citing Yemen government military sources. The 2 Iranians and an Iraqi affiliated with the IRGC were killed during clashes with Yemen government's forces. All 3 were operating in Yemen as IRGC experts supporting the Iran-backed Houthi militia. Their deaths come as Yemeni government forces have been pounding Houthi positions inflicting heavy losses across multiple fronts. Separately, a commander of the Houthi Alawi Al-Fath brigade was wounded in a drone strike. The deaths provide another glimpse into the Islamic Republic's direct presence on the ground, supporting the Houthi war effort. So yeah, this is clearly it's a separate, front of the war focused directly at the Saudi government. The interesting thing here is that this looks like a Russian drone that's being used. If I remember correctly, they used to use those kind of like egg beater style, right there on the front.
I guess it doesn't make it a Russian drone. It makes it a Russian detonation device. I don't know what the
Yeah,
drone is.
well, yeah,
Yeah.
I specifically I saw those on the drones that the Russians were using. I
Yeah.
never saw those in the Ukrainian ones, so I don't know what that really means. They could have just
The
copied the
Ukrainians
technique.
generally use that two-prong deal, right?
Yeah.
But I remember that scene though. That was in one of the Star Wars prequel trilogies where they were. That's not the one where they were racing. That's not that scene.
Yeah. Now this is
Oh,
pod
man.
racing.
Well,
going back to Jake Lang, remember?
Speaking of Star Wars, I guess
Or Jake
we're
Lloyd.
all we're all GWAT vets, and it's Ukrainian vets explaining to GWAT vets that the IEDs fly now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And well, like we saw the other day, they hop up off the ground and immediately hit the truck
Yeah.
after you've gone around the corner. All right. So back to the economic D-Day, which is something that I'm seeing heavily used in the news this morning. This is Besant kind of explaining things. So let's hear what he has to say beyond what we've already said.
So that raises the question about what happens next in Iran. And you mentioned the president last night said that there's more economic pressure coming on Iran. I know you're heavily involved in this and executing this. What can we expect here?
Yeah, you're going to expect I'll be holding a press conference on Monday to talk about exactly what we're going to do. And again, we have asymmetric information, and I'm not sure why oil has popped up on this, because this for now, and it is at the president's discretion. If we are doing the maximum economic pressure, then that means that likely there will not be a large-scale kinetic restart, but I would emphasize that is for now. And we do have control of the strait. You would have seen media reports that large amounts of energy are—
All right, push pause. So he said that this means that we won't need to see a large-scale kinetic restart. Now, on the U.S.'s part is what he should have said it there, because this is exactly how you're going to get a large-scale kinetic restart on the Iranian part. Now, I mean, ultimately, if Iran could just sit back and defeat the Americans every day, which, like you say, Joe, every day that they stay in power or they stay in control, they are beating America, right?
Yeah.
Maybe they think that this is a way they can make them look feckless and weak by lashing out against the GCC countries. I don't know. Go team, gay
I got
finance
2 points
Republicans.
so far in this video. One, I hate his constant smug look he always has.
Oh, me too.
And 2, if he doesn't understand why the price of crude is going up, he doesn't belong in the Secretary of Treasury slot. Everyone on this planet knows why the price of crude is going up.
All right. Yeah, because it's almost as much about perception versus actual reality, right? Yeah, Mexican Ironman, go team, gay Republican finance guy, LOL. OMG, this guy thinks Iranians aren't the way they are.
Well, again, just like everyone else, he's trying to assign logical thought processes to religious fanatics who just don't think like you and I.
Right. And this is why you can't negotiate with terrorists. And Iranians are fundamentally terrorists at their heart.
Yeah. And Iran is like, I'll let the entire world burn. As long as I live, I win. They don't care.
Mexican Iran for $9.99 says this guy sounds delusional about Iran. It's about as dumb as me thinking that my Puerto Rican ex-girlfriend is gonna max out my.
I think he means isn't going to, because she
isn't going to. Yes, that's exactly right. By the way, I missed Derna's. I apologies, Derna. I missed your $5 super chat over on Rumble. He says Iran is clearly ruled by the ballistocrator, which is whoever happens to be manning the missiles that day is in charge. It's a new form of democracy. It reminds me of the bullet farmer from Mad Max, you know, the ballistocrator, like that. Let me use that. All right. Do we want to listen to any more of what Bestnet has to say? I don't think so.
Not really.
I think I'm good on my Bestnet sounds. The key thing that I wanted to get out of that was I agree with him in that if they can be successful economically, they don't need to like be super kinetic. But that being said, Iran has a vote, you know.
I think the phrase is "Where's the beef?" And I'll leave it at that.
Well, when you're talking about a gay man, I don't ever want to ask that question.
Oh yeah, I forgot he is gay.
All right. I thought this guy had some pretty good kind of analysis here. All right. So let's see. U.S. is conducting stealth operations to transport oil through the Strait of Hormuz. All right. So this guy says this is an important operational development, but its impact on Iranian policy should not be overstated. If reported figures are accurate, which is the 10 million barrels per day, there is no question that this represents a significant operational achievement by the U.S. Central Command, but it still needs to be kept in perspective. We are talking about roughly half of Iran's oil exports with no gas exports. And it's also unclear how much this operation is costing the U.S. government or how long it can be sustained. This is not a permanent solution. More importantly, this will not force Iran to surrender or fundamentally change its negotiation position. In fact, Tehran concludes that the U.S. is becoming more effective at preventing Iranian oil tankers from operating while allowing other tankers to cross the straits. It may respond by escalating. This is exactly what we were getting to in the last thing. Escalating elsewhere in order to preserve the economic cost imposed on the international community by disruptions to the Straits of Hormuz. One thing is clear, Iran is unlikely to accept a situation in which it cannot export oil while other Gulf producers continue to do so. Paradoxically, therefore, America's relative operational success could become a driver of further Iranian escalation, which is kind of what I was getting at. Just because we're not going to go kinetic doesn't mean they wouldn't go kinetic. Blaine says the IRGC doesn't care about the Iranian people. They will hold on to power until the end. They don't care if their neighbor is the international community or the alleged leaders. Yeah, this is exactly right. And this is kind of this guy's point too, right? If Iran's like, well, if we can't control the Straits of Hormuz, we're going to control other economic levers. And this is where you're seeing the increased attacks by the Houthis against the Saudi Red Sea oil facilities. And to continue to drive operational costs of the GCC countries up. And you may see more targeted attacks against oil infrastructure, which, by the way, you know, you blow up a refinery, that's what, a year minimum a year down. So something to consider. All right. I thought that was good analysis by that guy. And then so back to the Houthi end of the war. This is one of those kind of things that I hate to see this happen. Let's see. This is the Iraq portion. So real quick before you go, I added something in there. I thought I mentioned it, but I guess it didn't. It's highlighted in the notes right now.
I thought you added it to the first part. Sorry.
Yeah. So this is Saudi Arabia operating in. This is them dropping a grenade or a mortar or something like this from a drone, it lands directly on the back deck of a Abrams turret. This is a M1A, M1S, I think is what they call this, the Saudi version of the M1. And then, of course, now it hit it right into the ammo compartment, and the ammo doors blow. So, assuming that the hatches are closed, which they don't look like they're closed. The hatches are closed, and the ammo door is shut when this goes off. That would prevent the crew from dying, but it looks like the hatches are open, so you never know what happens.
Um,
and so it blows off the ammo, and the ammo burns off.
Look, I have to say that looking like a very simple grenade being dropped from, it looks to me like over 100 meters. Wow. How are they making these shots? Is anybody else curious about this? Like, they've got to have some kind of bomb sight on these drones that allows for this.
Here's the thing. Assuming that the wind is not that much, it should just drop straight down. So if you're able to confirm that you're over the target, then gravity just does most of the work. But the other thing that I think is that they don't show all the misses. They only show the hit.
That's true. That's fair.
So if you drop 100 of them and only 20 hit, then you got 20 great videos.
Yeah, that's fair. Oh man.
So I always hate seeing U.S. equipment going up in smoke like this, but
yeah,
c'est la guerre. All right. So Iraq is quickly becoming a new kind of portion of this whole thing. Islamic Republic's proxy stranglehold over Iraq is heading towards unavoidable confrontation with the Iraqi state. Prime Minister Ali al-Zahidi has said in September 30th deadline to bring the weapons under state control and disarm Islamic Republic-backed militias. These are the Popular Mobilization Forces that we've talked about previously on the show, and some have deployed into Iran to help with when they were at the beginning of the war. They were helping with the riots that were going on. The pressure is coming from both directions. The United States is demanding disarmament, with Iraq's access to crucial dollar flows and therefore its economic stability potentially at stake. Meanwhile, the Islamic Republic wants its armed network preserved. Khatib Hezbollah is now threatening al-Zaidi, warning that its patience is running out. Al-Zahidi said he will not retreat even if it costs me my life. This is becoming a battle over Iraq itself, state sovereignty on one side, and the Islamic Republic's parallel armed order on the other. Yeah, I always thought it was a bad idea to let the Popular Mobilization Forces have this much power inside Iraq. But I think that was because the Iraqis were weak, and they just couldn't stand against and essentially these Popular Mobilization Forces were some of the Shia-backed terrorists that were blowing up Americans towards the end of our
We shouldn't say
occupation.
he's willing to die because they're going to say "wish granted." So
Yeah, they'll definitely say bet on that one. And so the next post here is this is the same poster, Iran Watcher, a major, is that the Watcher's Iranian cousin, the Iran Watcher? All right, sorry. Major confrontation brewing between Iraq as Iranian-backed militias refuse to surrender their weapons. Just 24 hours after the Islamic Republic of Parliament Speaker Mohammed Bagher Khalifabad visited Baghdad and met leaders of armed factions, a new mass militia calling itself the Mustafa Brigades emerged, heavily armed and threatening the Iraq government while announcing the formation of new brigades under the banner of the resistance. The timing comes as the Iraqi government faces a September deadline to bring weapons under state control and disarm Iranian-backed militias. Pressure is also growing on Iraq's neighbors. The Al Monitor reported that Saudi Arabia is demanding accountability for Iranian-backed militia leaders involved in attacks against the kingdom, including those who ordered the operations. The confrontation is becoming increasingly unclear. The Iraqi state is being pushed to reclaim control of its territory and weapons, while the Islamic Republic militia network is openly threatening resistance. Now, I thought that within Islam there was nothing but peace and love within the Islamic, and that this is a religion of peace.
Right. Homeboy's really regretting the fact that he agreed to carry the PKM in this. He spends the entire video like trying to figure out how to hold it without dropping it.
He looks like he's getting ready to fall out, right? Like, I mean, like, and he's the most jacked of the whole thing, but he is like literally has no idea what he's doing.
And listen, y'all can't fool me. That's Watcher next to the speaker on the speaker's left.
I know, right? in his Giant of Kandahar outfit. Alrighty. Gentlemen, that's all I got for today. Anything else?
No. I would. Are we doing predictions now, or what are we doing?
Yeah. Getting ready to go around the horn.
All right, let's do it. I would watch for us to make some sort of response to Iran, because as I've said all week, we cannot allow their constant lobbing of missiles at civilian shipping to go unchecked. And the fact that we revealed for some silly reason that we're running a secret operation bringing tankers through the Strait of Hormuz is going to make Iran that more likely to just shoot at whatever is moving on the water. So we're going to have to respond to that. I know it was an attempt to lower oil prices, but that number of barrels a day is really a drop in the proverbial bucket. So I'd watch for some Iran action.
Well, the other guy had a good point in that it's not it's just oil, right? There's no gas that's getting through. So it's and I think the 25 million barrels per day was kind of the pre-war number, and evidently on a couple days they've gotten to that number, but 10 million barrels a day is still less than half of that number. So even with that getting through, that's probably not enough to completely depress the price of oil. Don?
It's probably not enough to completely depress the price of oil, but if it eases the panic, it will look like it in the markets. And that, I can't say this enough, that seems to be what the White House is aiming for every time. It's not so much that they want the practical, actual reality to change so much as they want the market speculators to stop spazzing out.
Yeah, that's a good point. Any other predictions, or was that it?
Domestically speaking, we're going to watch people continue to be crazy people. And this isn't as much a short-term prediction as it is in just ongoing thing. Whatever the craziest take on something is going to start to become progressively more popular over time. And this has been true for a while, but we have reached new levels of this crazy, and it is going to keep happening. It's a combination of algorithms and shitty mainstream media, but it is we are hitting some fever pitch levels of society destroying nonsense. So that is going to keep happening.
Yeah, that's a good point. Watcher?
Speaking of fever pitch levels of society destroying nonsense, I predict we are going to continue to hear people trick retarded ass quote unquote professors and journalists at the War College. Sorry, we got that backwards. Journalists and professors at the War College. With shortages of chem lights, gig lines, prop wash, flight lines, air samples, grid squares, logistics lines, pricky eights.
Yeah, I saw that they lost the keys to the Fryer drop zone.
They did, and the Humvee. All the Humvee keys are missing.
So they're going to have to spend millions of dollars to get those keys rebuilt.
The cope from the super smart people of our era that keep getting fooled by this is delicious.
I know, it's wonderful. I mean, the only problem is you're absolutely ruining the joke for the next generation of soldiers, Marines, airmen, and sailors coming in.
True.
Because they will have already caught the memes, online. So, all right. So let me share my screen here. I honestly think the DSA is going to just destroy from within the Democratic Party. They're going to do things to the Democratic Party that Republicans only wish they could have done. Chuck Schumer is doubling down his support for Michigan State candidate Abu El-Sayed. El-Sayed, this is a quote from Schumer. El-Sayed has brought new energy and new talent into the Democratic Party. Yeah, he is a suicide bomber, a political suicide bomber, who is in the process of destroying the Democrat Party. Now, it won't really just implode. What it'll do is it will transform into something else, but it will transform into something that will cause the next civil war, is what I predict. But then again, what do I know?
Well, so that is the issue, right? Is that if this was, I don't know, 50 years ago, we would have, the Democrat Party would implode. They are not doing that bad, all things considered. And that is not good.
Well, right. And that's what I'm saying is like they're going to embrace this new form of democratic socialism. And then what will end up happening is they'll win some elections and then they'll start getting what they want. And people will start. And then Mondami will finally show everybody what the new New York is. And, and they will start to spread that before we can react. They will start to spread that to the Congress. And God knows they may actually win the presidency, and that's what will start the next civil war, is what I predict. The Democratic Socialists.
I mean,
fair.
They already did. His
No,
name is
no,
Barack Obama.
Well, no, but see, that's just it, right? Like that was just the first salvo, right? Because let's be honest, we can all kind of, convince ourselves outside of one or two things, what he did doesn't affect me now. Well, no, it does. It absolutely does. He solidified the teachers union's absolute control of educational institutions. I mean, if you
Destroyed
look,
healthcare.
the colleges still have, he destroyed healthcare. That's right. The colleges still have all these woke classes as requirements to graduate. Like you must have like 6 hours of some sort of oppression studies type of classes to graduate. So my daughter is going through and she found out that she could get away with just instead of taking some of these like gender studies and things like this, that she can take she's taking a religion course. And and she said that by all reports thus far it is not woke that she can see. And she has one professor who is an outright Trump supporter, I guess, which is interesting. Maybe it's because it's North Carolina. I don't know. But that's the fact that she even has even sussed that out at this point is interesting. All right, guys, that's all I got for today. Thank you very much for being here. Sorry, Joe had to take off. He had somebody come to the door. Don, thank you for being here on our Domestic Friday. Watcher, as always. Chat, you guys are really blowing it up today. I appreciate all your interaction. If you haven't done it already, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for notifications, let people know you're getting some good stuff over here on the Council for Future Conflict. We will be back on Monday, same channel, same time. As always, until then, you guys stay safe.